Now we'll do the journal entry for the question that we discussed in the previous video. Company calculation and individual calculation we finished now. So now we'll move on to the journal entry section. Draw the format of journal. So we'll start with the basic entry. You must remember to include prorata entries. Two proratas are there, one at the time of allotment and the other one at the time of first call. So the basic one, bank account debtor to equity share application account. Is it equity shares in the question? It is simply mentioned shares, isn't it? Yeah, for 1 lakh shares. So 2 share application account. Now, how much will you write for the first journal entry? Usually, we will look into the working note and the first amount for company calculation. You have two categories here. Understood? Why we did it as two categories? Because there was an excess to be adjusted with the first call also. So, for finding that, we did as two separate categories. But when you write the journal entries, what you have to do is write the total amount. Bank account debtor to share application. Are you supposed to just write that 2 lakh? What's the first amount there? 2 lakh 70,000, isn't it? Are we supposed to write only 2 lakh 70? No. What we have to do is, see, first entry will be bank account debtor to share application account and it will be the total number. Company's total number is 1,60,000 shares they have issued. Sorry, we received. We didn't issue, we received applications. So 1,60,000 into 3, the total amount you are supposed to write. When we did company calculation, we did it as two separate categories, but when you write journal entry, the total shares you have to consider. Then the next one is, as usual, we will write the journal entries. Share application account debtor to. When you write, don't use short forms. Share capital. Will it be the same amount? No. You know that second entry it will be only 1 lakh into 3, isn't it? Usually it will be there in the company calculation. But for this question, since we did as two separate categories, we have to write the total. Then the next is allotment money. Is there premium with the allotment? Yes, there is premium with the allotment. So what we have to do is, it's not equity, it's share allotment account debtor to share capital to, remember to open securities premium reserve, and share allotment will be 1 lakh shares into, everywhere you are considering this 1 lakh. 1 lakh into allotment per share is 3. So it is 3 lakhs. The securities premium is 1 lakh into 1. So 1 lakh. Balance you can write for share capital, that is 2 lakhs. Now what should we write? Don't forget the next entry. Are we going to write the amount received entry? No, you are supposed to write the prorata entry in between allotment due and allotment received, and you just look into the working note. What is your prorata at the time of allotment? You have to add and take. In category 1 it is 1 lakh 20, and in category 2 it is 30, isn't it? Yeah, 30. So altogether your prorata figure will be 1,50,000 that I told you already when we discussed the calculation, company calculation. So that is journal entry is share application account debtor to share allotment account. How much will you write? That 1,50,000 from category 1 and 2 you have to add and take. Then the next we will write the receipt entry. That time remember to open calls in arrears. Now with every installment you have calls in arrears. So remember to write calls in arrears here. That's what they are asking in the question also. Open calls in arrears means this is what we are doing. To, other than that you don't have to do any ledger. To share allotment. Okay, usually what will you do? Allotment means you will just look into the previous entry and take the amount. But here can we do like that? Share allotment, 3 lakhs is there, but what's the meaning of prorata? Already you have received an excess of 1,50,000. So that 1,50,000 you have to less, and the balance what you have to receive now is only 1,50,000. Understood? So you can't simply copy this 3 lakhs into the journal entry. See, allotment debited with 3 lakhs, then in the prorata entry there is credit for allotment, that is 1,50,000. So debit and credit always you have to find the difference. So balance will be only 1,50,000. So always deduct prorata figure when you write the receipt entry. So this will be only 1,50,000. And what is your calls in arrears at the time of allotment? Just see Rishabh's calculation. Calls in arrears at the time of allotment you have specifically written there, no? Just take your, where did we do that? Just take your calculation and see. Yeah, calls in arrears at the time of allotment it is 2,700, yes. So we will write that figure here, 2,700, and the balance you can write for bank, 1,47,300 you can write for bank. Yes, then the next one is first call. First call per share is 3 per share. And the journal entry is, there also we have prorata and all. That's a new item we are supposed to include in this question. So share first call account debtor to share capital. How much you are supposed to receive? It is 1 lakh into 3. Next we have to write the prorata entry. This is what the new journal entry is. Textbook they have opened calls in advance account. Instead of that you can do like this. You just write the prorata entry as share application debtor to share first call. What's the amount you are adjusting with the first call? Look into the working note category 1 you have prorated the time of first call 30,000, that you will write here. Understood? So that 30,000 you have to write as share application account debtor to share first call. This is prorata entry for first call, which is 30,000, which we are taking from the working note. See, the journal entries we can write very easily since we have done all calculations before. Next what we have to do is the receipt entry, that time open calls in arrears also. So bank account debtor, calls in arrears account debtor to share first call. Yes, so what is share first call amount? In the previous journal entry it is 3 lakhs, then you have credited it with 30,000, so less that 30. Now again share first call, you need to write only 3 lakh minus 30, 2 lakh 70. Now what is your calls in arrears at the time of first call? This one you have to write carefully. Because you have calls in arrears under Rishabh. I mean Rishabh also failed to pay the first call. Similarly, Sudha also failed to pay the first call. So these two amounts you have to add and take. Just turn your page and see for Rishabh's calculation you have written specifically there calls in arrears at the time of first call. All calculations we have done there. What is calls in arrears at the time of first call in Rishabh's calculation? It is, did you see the amount 3600 there? Yes. Then you have to take Sudha's also. Sudha's amount is 1800. So 3600 plus 1800, that is your calls in arrears. So always look into the working note so that it will be easier for you to write the amounts and entries. And the balance you can write 2,64,600. Yes, so that is first call entry. Next, see whether the company is making second call. Yes, the company is making second call also, but second call we don't have any prorata, but there is calls in arrears with second call also. So we will write second call entry, share second and final call account debtor to share capital. It is 1 lakh into what is second call per share? 2 per share. So that is 2 lakhs. Next we can write the receipt entry. There is no prorata here. So the receipt entry will be bank account debtor. You have to open now. Calls in arrears. Calls in arrears account debtor to share second and final call. And the amount will be share second and final call. The same 2 lakhs you can write because there is no prorata amount to be deducted. So you just write the same 2 lakhs. And calls in arrears at the time of second call. Look into the company, individual calculation. Rishabh also failed to pay, isn't it? Just see Rishabh's calculation there. Yes, Rishabh failed to pay 2,400. That is second call money. And Sudha failed to pay 1,600. So 2,400 plus 1,600. That is calls in arrears. So 4,000 will be the amount. So you can write the bank figure now as 1,96,000. Yes. So 1,96,000 is the second call received amount. Next, what is happening in the question? Basic entries are over now. Now we will move on to forfeiture, isn't it? Next, what is happening in the question is, yes, forfeiture and then reissue entries you have to write. Forfeiture entries we will separate it because we have 2 shareholders. So forfeiture 2 entries we will write and for reissue we will write only 1. So Rishabh's forfeiture entry we will write first. You write here Rishabh. Yes, and forfeiture entry when you write always check whether premium is received or not. Did we receive premium in this particular question? Just read Rishabh failed to pay allotment money, that means he hasn't paid premium. So if premium is not received, what you are supposed to do? Debit SPR, securities premium reserve. So the forfeiture entry will be share capital account debtor, securities premium reserve account debtor to forfeited shares account to calls in arrears account. Yes. So now what is the number of shares we are forfeiting from Rishabh? Rishabh applied for 1,500. Are we forfeiting 1,500 shares? No. You can you can forfeit only the allotted number. The company can cancel or forfeit only the allotted number. So the allotted number is for Rishabh, the allotted number is 1,200. That's what we are forfeiting because we can cancel only what we have given. Okay. So 1200 into SPR is 1 per share. So 1200 here. Then calls and arrears, what should we do? Just see the calculation you wrote. Rishabh's calculation you take. Rishabh's all 3 installments, allotment, calls and arrears, first call, second call, everything is there in your calculation. Allotment, calls and arrears is 2700. Then first call 3600 plus the second call 2400. Just take it from Rishabh's calculation. All 3 you can add and write. So Rishabh's amount will be 8700. And forfeited shares means what we received from Rishabh. We received only the application plus the excess amount also you have received from Rishabh. So we will do the calculation as we received on 1200 shares, that is a forfeited number. So 1200 shares into we received application per share, that is 3 per share from Rishabh, plus there is an excess which we received from Rishabh. For that you look into the individual calculation of Rishabh. Did you see an excess of 900 there? That you have to add. So 3600 plus 900, it will be 4500 as forfeited shares. Now the balance we can write for share capital, that will be 12,000. This is how you have to write the forfeiture journal entry. The next we will write the entry for Sudha. Now Sudha failed to pay first call and second call, meaning she paid the allotment money. So what should we do with SPR? Should we debit it? No, since she has paid allotment, she would have paid premium also. If premium is received, ignore completely. So the entry will be share capital account debtor to forfeited shares account to calls and arrears. Calls and arrears, look into individual calculation of Sudha. She failed to pay the first call money of 1800 and the second call money of 1600, isn't it? Yes, so altogether it is 3400 as calls and arrears. Then forfeited shares means what we received from Sudha. How many shares we allotted to Sudha? We have allotted Sudha only 800 shares. So that number you have to consider into what we received from Sudha is application of 3 per share, then allotment of again 3 per share, but this includes 1 premium. If premium is received, ignore completely. So this will become 2. So we received 3 plus 2, 5 from Sudha. So 800 into 5 plus you have received an excess amount from Sudha which is there in your individual calculation. Did you see an excess of 600? So that amount also you have to add and write. So that will be altogether 4600 as forfeited shares. Add this, write for share capital, the total you can write 8000. So forfeiture journal entry is over. Now we will write the reissue entry, that is bank account debtor, leave one line and write to share capital. How many shares is the company for reissuing? I think all shares are being reissued, isn't it? Yes, all shares of Rishabh and Sudha were reissued. So altogether how many shares? Rishabh is holding 1200 shares, Sudha holding 800 shares. So 2000 shares being reissued. The allotted number you have to take, not the applied. What we gave Sudha and Rishabh is only 1200 and 800. So only that you can cancel and that you can reissue. So 2000 into reissued at 7. So that 7 will come here for bank. Since it is fully paid up, isn't it? Yeah, fully paid up means you have to take the face value. Face value means 10. Don't take issue price. Issue price is 11. 10 plus 1. You take the face value as fully paid up. So the credit side it is 20,000 There is a shortage on the debit side 6,000, for which we will write forfeited shares account debtor. The next one we will write the balance to capital reserves. So the entry is forfeited shares account debtor to capital reserve account. Forfeited shares account debtor to capital reserve account. Okay, the balance to be transferred to capital reserve. No need to apply any formula because it is fully reissued. So you just take the credit and debit differences of forfeited shares. Say in Rishabh's entry, you have forfeited shares 4,500. Then in Sudha's entry, you have 4,600. So add it, 4,500 plus 4,600, it is 9,100. Minus the debited amount, here the debited amount is 6,000. So 9,100 minus 6,000, that is the calculation, and the amount to be transferred is 3,100. Understood? With this, the question is over. It is time consuming, so don't learn this question first, don't try to learn this question first. Start with the basic comprehensive questions, slowly you practice this question.